be able to...
YouTube is starting.
Very nice. Cheers, Jason. Have Mr. Bart Mendoza on. Mr. San Diego is here to describe songwriting and the terrain here in lovely San Diego.
The mayor
Boy, is
of
the weather
San
getting
Diego.
better. How do you think? Is it? Are we getting another heat wave?
I see your YouTube, I don't see the Facebook.
You know, every time you say that, I can hear that.
I know, that's why I do it.
Are we live yet?
We're getting there. Yeah.
Yep, and running.
Serenation.
Feelings, nothing more than feelings.
I see your YouTube, I don't see That's mine, gotta turn the volume down.
Alright, I want to take it here. Boogie Magazine. That's right, baby. Boogie
Gotta
Magazine.
do all the...
Time to boogie.
Oh, the things we do.
Do you think it would be silly to introduce us as the Oneaters?
No, actually. Oh, and actually we can talk about that too because they have a connection to San Diego, a big one.
Great.
Which is actually very much in the news this week. So I'll tell you something.
This is a pretty good look for you.
I like this.
That you
This
feel good?
this looks to me a little bit like one of the new Gibsons.
Hello, welcome to show. It is Thursday and we are happy to have you today. And I think you know what that means.
Well, yes.
Are we going to collude?
We're
gonna collude
I
today,
do
or-
Russian collusion, it's good, it's tapping.
You know what? If nothing else, we're getting an expanded vocabulary from all the politics. Like nobody knew the word. Nobody used collusion before. Now everybody's using it. It's like
You used collude. And
yeah.
on that note, here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
It all seems so uncertain, best described with the word perhaps. You only want the truth, and it's that nothing ever lasts. You smile and talk like we're old friends. I'm hanging on to everything I can. Always thought the future could bring better. Always thought the future meant ahead. Not learning different ways to see things, and the word instead. You smile and talk like we're old friends. I'm hanging on to everything I can. Somewhere the stars are shining, it's in your eyes tonight. Someday we'll be realizing things might turn out different. Things might turn out right. It's so hard to say goodbye. Lightning pierces the sun. So we sit and wonder why as we become undone. Ta-da.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. Wow. The lighting crew's on it today. That's good. Good to see you.
I'm also
It's-
guitar taking for myself.
There
Tuning
we
this
go.
guitar. All right, baby. Welcome to the show. I'm Mike Ruggiero, the host of Theory Thursday. Jason Thomas is the co-host.
Hey guys,
And
I guess I have
you
words.
You have those words. I'm
I
getting
have words.
distracted. I'm just getting,
I have words.
Take those words, Jason.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks again. We'd like to thank our sponsors off the bat.
Just thrilled that we got a standing ovation from our studio audience.
Oh yeah,
That's
Did
great.
we
Yeah.
get?
we did.
We'll get to that
We'll
introduction.
get to our studio audience. So yeah, again, thanks for watching, guys. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Kurt Mangan Strings, Matt Hatter Guitar Products, Iconic Guitars, Guitar Tune-Up San Diego, and Bogner Amplification. Thank you, guys. Also like to remind you guys to go to our website, TheoryThursday.com, order some stuff, check it out. We've got strings for sale, we've got cables for sale, we got guitars for sale, so check that out. And also go to our YouTube channel, hit like, share, and subscribe, and also sign up to one of our Patreons. We have some special gifts for you when we do that, and we get some one-on-one conversations, and possibly some one-on-one lessons, depending on, as we get moving forward, we can talk to you about that too. So yeah, once you find out more information when you become a patron. I guess that's most of the business. Oh, and like to welcome Bart back. Appreciate
Hey everybody,
that.
it's good to be back. It's good to be anywhere at this age.
That's right, huh?
Yes.
I'm feeling that way. I'm feeling that way.
Yeah, I just turned 56 yesterday, so it was.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you,
Most of
thank
us
you.
gave you some PMs and.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, actually.
Lots.
I answered every single one of them.
I bet you did. So that brings me to, let me give you a nice formal introduction. This wonderful gentleman sitting to the left of me. You're right. He is a singer-songwriter. He's also a publicist and pseudonym. Mr. Bart Mendoza, kicking it right here for the third time of Theory Thursday.
Well, good to see you guys. Thanks for having me back.
Hey, man, you look great. I was going to give you a compliment on your overall demeanor. You look like you're very fit, looking very dapper.
Well, I'd like to say I work out a bit, and, take care of myself, but I don't. It's just.
I would have believed it.
Yeah, no. It's just pure, staying up late, rock and roll. Good
Yeah.
friends to hang out with.
Let's get a little segue. Who's our sit-in guest tonight?
It's Spike Mike from the Spice
Mr.
Pistols.
Spike.
Can you
Mike.
just maybe say hello to the camera? Yeah, you doing a little? Yeah.
Should we grab him a chair? Probably gonna be standing for a while.
I meant to grab him a chair from the inside.
Oh.
We had one more stool.
He's got bad knees. Standing up is probably a good idea for him.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You could sit on the camera case, but it might not be very.
Why don't you let him sit on your lap?
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
Hey
Ooh.
now. He's not wearing the Scary Spice
Honestly,
outfit.
if you want, you can actually open the door
And grab
If you want to go grab, there's a stool.
Grab a lawn chair too, right there
Yeah.
too.
Well, I think that would be a little bit more cumbersome. Yeah.
I have become.
But
Yes, please continue.
So, let's see. We were talking about the Oneaters a minute ago.
I was going to introduce this though, but I felt a little frail because my number one.
Knocked out.
It got knocked out, so I was trying to do that blues lick. Can we just maybe show them real quick the main? Start the riff for me.
Okay.
This is what I had planned. Just something like this. Just something like that, right? But when I came in, it sounded like a different key.
Had the
and I
brown
was
note
like,
going?
I had that. It was brown, purple, ugly, and green. A little bit of slime with some silver. All right? And I didn't want to ruin it. But thank you for bringing that back because it's always said a little bit more intimate when there's no drums and there's no bass. Actually, can I hear it one more time? Because that really sounds something. I like it.
All seems so uncertain, best described with the word perhaps. You only want the truth, and it's that nothing ever lasts. You smile and talk like we're old friends. I'm hanging on to everything I can.
Yeah, man. I just,
That would have worked, yes.
It would have worked.
It would have worked. It's like,
one of the things that we do here, and I think you know that, it's always about redemption.
Yes.
We tend to.
Oh, I'm way too
It
far
is-
gone, but I appreciate the thought. Yeah, it's not,
It is a live show.
I need that.
It is a live show. We are walking on a
Yeah.
tightrope without a
oh, all
net,
that
so it's
rehearsal we did for hours when I got here late. Yeah, it's like,
Yeah. We got a little bit, but yeah.
Exciting stuff. Great mood. I feel the energy. It's awesome. Yesterday was your birthday.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. And it was a pretty good one, too.
37, right?
Yeah, I wish. Yeah, times 2. No, you know, I gotta say, at this age, to be doing what I'm doing, having so much fun, I kind of feel guilty. You
Why?
know? I mean,
Why feel guilty?
because other people work for a living, and this is what I do. You know, I mean, and I'll give you an example. I've got some advanced Beatles-related stuff that's coming out, and so the other day, a couple days ago, I'm listening to stuff and spent about 4 hours going over the materials and all this kind of stuff, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm getting a paycheck for this. Like, what?
You created that art.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, it's pure luck. I mean, it really,
You deserve
really
it
is.
as far as I'm concerned.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. But man, yeah. So at 56, I'm actually playing just as much and having more fun than I was when I was 22, 23, 24 years old.
That's great.
So it's just having a lot of fun.
Is it because maybe the selection of songs that you're pulling from? Because I know you have
Actually,
you've written
no.
a lot of songs.
To everyone, thank you. I appreciate that as well. But to everybody out there, the key to a lot of this really is longevity. You got to put out quality work as well, you know, along the way. But the longer you last, the more return you're going to get from what you do. That's why I can't understand why so many bands just break up after 9 months. They put out an album, like a week after they put out the record, they're gone. You know,
Well, there's a lot of reasons for that.
you gotta last a while. You gotta have some sort of thing like that, and it'll come around.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I mean, right now a lot of what's going on is for manual scan. You know, and that to me is bizarre because that is a long time ago. That feels like a whole different person. But the book came out. We're in a box set. There's more records coming out later on this year. All this
A
kind
book
of
came out.
Let's
Let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay, the Scooter Chronicles came out earlier
Yeah,
this
you
year.
were talking about that last time.
So it finally came out, and it is basically the story. It's a coming-of-age story about a young mod in the early '80s, it's a lot of fun to read. But the whole back section is something I wrote on the history of mod in the U.S., in particular the Southern California mod scene, how it happened, why it happened, who the key players were, the clubs, the venues, Los Angeles and San Diego. And that has definitely brought a lot of attention back to manual scan.
Yeah.
Very cool.
You know, they asked me to include the band in the book. I was a little reticent about it, kind of weird writing about myself a little bit, but the editors basically told me that.
Is that like a faux pas in your line of work? Because you do. It's what
yeah, I
you do.
never ever cover myself or mention any of my bands in anything I write ever.
And that happened because you had to do that. Someone asked you to do that.
Yeah, exactly. I actually checked on it, and every once in a while I will include something, but it's because editorial told me to. Like, well, you guys are, you're the opening act for the Alarm. You need to at least mention that you're open. Just
Sure.
kind of put your name
Summarize
on it.
some.
But it's in the context.
It's
of
in the
body
context of what you're doing, right?
So it
But,
works.
yeah, I mean, in the music community, I automatically exclude myself, as it should be, from anything like I can never be nominated for a San Diego Music Award, for example. Yeah, that's just a given. I work too closely to it; it'd be too weird. The other thing, of course, is that I would never win anyway, so it takes away the pain from the band members, so we can feel a little better about it.
Ding!
Yeah,
For
so-
the self-deprecating
Yeah.
tone of the evening.
Well, I mean, I'm smart. I know these things. I know that when we're put in a category with Blink-182, Little Hurricane, and Schizophonics, we're going to be fourth on that list, and I'm good with that because the other three bands are that good.
Yeah.
That's
But,
rad. That's very level-headed and pretty. I think a great thing to think.
But by the same token,
magnanimous of you.
as the
Mighty
writer,
magnanimous.
I can't, and I've seen other promoters in other towns and places that, they'll book shows and write articles, and it's basically about themselves. Like, so you're headlining the festival that you're promoting. Yeah,
Obviously advantageous. You can see right through that in that author. Yeah,
to a degree, I mean, in an era nowadays where you kind of have to create your own scene, I can see where that would happen. But by the same token, you should be, as a promoter, stuff humble enough to, you don't give yourself the top spot. You don't, put yourself on the cover.
some of us need practice at that. But that is an art form as far as marketing oneself too. There's a lot of conscientious thinking. Like, you don't want to be pretentious, you don't want to be narcissistic, but you want to show some product, and you want the words in this text. I'm speaking in frames of a post. It has to be thought out. Jason and I have had a lot of conversations about this. He taught me something very valuable. I guess I hijacked and throwing in a little turn right here when it comes to thinking about promoting yourself.
Okay.
I think about it about 3 times before I hit post. the words. Sometimes you have to rewrite
That's just a rule of thumb on
Sure.
social media. It's like,
Oh, except when you're arguing with your girlfriend. Then you just first thing you think of,
Sure.
automatically. Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah,
I just want to throw a little shine on that because I'm just trying to understand maybe how it
Well, yeah,
felt, what you're doing.
Well, we're joking about collusion, how words don't, that didn't
a great word.
nobody cared about that word 3 months ago, but now, or a year ago. But anyway, yeah, they really matter. The words really, really matter. Not only in what you the lyrics that you write, but how you put yourself across. And you want to come across a little bit humble and a little bit like you want to be a regular person. You don't want to be all egotistical about that. I've seen people try it. It does not work. It might get you a little something in the short run, but everybody's going to hate you in the long run. So
Yeah,
it's not worth it.
I agree.
So, and yes, words matter. It matters in definitely be careful what you post. You don't want stuff coming back around. You don't want to be posting wrong information, and you want to credit people for when they help you and when you use their work. I mean, I don't think you have to.
It's getting a little tricky with photography.
Well,
lately.
and this is, if any photographers are out there, I mean, my recommendation is going to be to tag and watermark your photos. I try to, as much as I can, put my little logo on the bottom. And that's not ego talking at all. It's not even talking about money.
That's reference, yeah.
It's reference because later on, and this has already happened to me once, I made a video for Emmanuel Scan's song, Nothing You Can Do, and I just have a box of old photographs. And so I just kind of scanned a bunch in and I made a video out of them.
That looks
and
really cool.
one of the photographers complained.
Are you? Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Complained
You
and
could
said,
almost-
you didn't ask me for the permission to use this photo, and it was like the ex-girlfriend of a drummer that was in the band for a little while like that, and I just kind of went, I am so sorry. I'll credit you in the thing if you'd like. And she was fine with it. She said, don't take it down. I'm just like, why did you? And I said, you know what? Honestly, it was just a photograph in a basket full of stuff. There's nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know who it's from.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
now that I do, I can credit
Yeah.
you. But it would solve a lot of things because in a few years. Well, like for example, we just did that live recording, right, the other day. It must have been 8 people took photos. In a month or so, it's going to be like there's just one big pile of photos. Nobody's going to know who took anything because they all pretty much look similar, different angles, different whatever, but it's the same thing. So how are you going to know which person took one of those 100 pictures?
Yeah.
Tag them, watermark them, put something on there that
Makes sense.
says there so you can find out later
makes
on.
sense.
And the people that are posting them want that anyway.
Yeah.
I want to know where it came from.
Yeah.
It's just easier. So anyway, that's just a thought.
That's an important thought.
Yeah.
And
while I'm complaining, so since I've got the world's attention right now,
Since you got the soapbox.
Take advantage.
yeah, got the soapbox, and we're talking about photographs. I wanted to point out in marketing that the number one thing that keeps a band from being written about, number one, that happened twice today to me, is when they don't have a photo available that we can use for promotion, okay? And by having a photo available, I mean a cleared photo that is clearly, it says cleared, because you can't, a lot of bands will send in pictures that their friends took or some photographer took. Photographer doesn't know about it, they're gonna get mad. They want their money, they're gonna be paid for that. And the newspaper's now in trouble because
reaction.
you sent me a photo that you should have been cleared, and it's not our responsibility to make sure you cleared it.
Should there be like a forum or a place to get like an institution for this?
I honestly think it's at this point there should be some sort of contract that you can just write out. But really, all it really is that if you took a photo of me that I wanted to use, I should just go to you. Hey, by the way, I'm going to use that picture, on some promotional stuff like that, and it's going to be on my page. Good. That's all you really need to do. But just make sure it's cleared so it doesn't come back to the writer, the paper, or you as a musician, because I've seen people get really ticked off on Facebook about that kind of thing.
As they should, capturing a great photo, it's important. No wonder photographers feel that way.
Well, in music, image is very, very important. It's not everything, like in acting, for example, but it is
I rely on
very,
it.
Yeah, I certainly do, down to my Beatle boots. Yeah.
Those Beatle boots are really happening, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Well,
get a little zoom on that. I mean, we really care about hairstyles and boots.
Yeah.
The whole you maintaining a somewhat of a mod look. It's very. It's nice. It's dark.
I could not, because that's what's in my closet at this point. There's like
So
a row
this
of
is
these.
normal attire. When you
Yes.
want to go, if I picked you up and had a sandwich tomorrow, most likely you're gonna wear something like this.
Not even most likely. I would be wearing these exact boots, a different pair of black jeans. If you look into my closet, it's kind of like Homer Simpson's closet. It's like X amount of black jeans, X amount of black boots, and then
cool.
like a variety of shirts, and that's about it.
That might be a good album, on the back of the cover. where you have put all the song titles and all the credits. It's just a picture of your closet.
Possibly.
That could be cool.
Just
It's a little revealing.
maybe my record room instead.
Like
you know,
whose band member's closet is that? Or maybe, I don't know. Anything in that capacity. So you've supplied us miraculously with 4 new songs that I haven't heard yet, and I've been listening to them as of last night. Great songs. I have the shorthand written down. What did we start with?
Well, we did "In Your Arms," which was from the '90s. I wrote that one when I was with the Shambles.
A Shambles tune. Oh, buddy, Brad Barker probably played the beat on that.
Brad Barker. It's terrible because I'm now at the point where I don't remember who did what on these
There's
things.
drummers in
Yeah.
it.
So
I love that. That means you've written a lot of songs.
I am quite happy because last night I found a video on YouTube of one of my old songs, and they had extensive liner notes from the albums on there, in the video, and I was like, oh wow, I forgot about that. Oh, wow, he was in the studio that day. I was like, it's just at this
How
point
cool,
it's
man. That's rich, dude.
I know between compilation albums and our regular releases in the various bands, it's well over 100 releases. And I know I've written over 700 songs. So I stopped counting at about 708. So yeah, I have this thing where in my life I have to do at least 100 of anything. Like if I write for a paper, I want to write at least 100 columns. I want to have 100 of this, 100 of that in my repertoire. That's always the way I am. So, but once I got to like 700 songs, it's just like, why am I keeping track? Like, because what it ended up doing actually was a negative. Because I would worry so much about these songs that have never been recorded that I found I wasn't writing more. So once I stopped going keeping track of the number, I was like, never mind. Because I'm never going to record all of them. It's never going to happen. It's just too many of them.
I mean,
and then there's new ones coming up all the time. So, I always want the new ones to be the ones we're working on.
Which is very interesting for me because I'm looking at this list and then I ask you a question, what is that? And then you immediately date it. So it makes me think that all 4 of these tunes are all over the place, 25 years apart. Maybe that one's like a week old. That's very Frank Zappa of you.
Yeah, there's nothing a week old, but there's the newest one is like a few months old. Just You're Gonna Miss Me. Because I don't throw anything away, and I will reuse parts and themes like that. So sometimes it just depends on how inspired I am. But I'll take this section's in D. I'll take it from this thing and just make a Frankenstein song out of it. A bit like the Beatles' Abbey Road Side 2, but without being one of the Beatles.
Wonderful.
Much lowered in quality, that much lower in quality, but there you go.
I think you do a fantastic job in that regard. The listener can hear your influence. You bring enough to the table where it's you. It sounds like I'm blowing some smoke, but I'm actually coming from a very genuine place because I know, in my opinion, the line is not that blurred if you're too influenced or if it's too original. So. You do a nice job where it's like
I got to tell you
sounds like the Oneaters.
Yes, the Oneaters. It's kind of a weird thing to me because
snappy.
As you know, I cover local music and I cover the top 40, and so I hear what's on the radio. I hear all this kind of stuff, and then I listen to my recordings and go like, oh, okay. It's so different from anything that anybody else is doing. I'm not saying that's good or bad. It's just very.
I would like to throw some shine on a particular
probably
riff
good.
And influence, and this is interesting to me. Is it Bleeding?
Yeah.
When I heard that, I'm like, okay, this is like a goth tune, but I hear the surf influence, and it's cool because obviously what that told me. Maybe it's obvious to most others, or maybe you, Jason, but that was new for me. That was like a revelation. I was like, wow, goth seems to, according to Bart, that song is influenced by surf. But it's a goth tune. It's gothy, right?
Actually,
no, am I off base here?
Well, because see, let's take a look at the way it's
mod. I meant to say mod. I meant to say mod. Excuse me. It's not goth. Mod.
Well, but the lyrics are kind of goth because it's about death. It's about. But the original, let's see here.
It was me that's been listening to much goth.
Let's see.
Yes.
So I'm going to play like 2 seconds. The way it was. The words it was written was. Won't the rain fall if I faded from your view? What could I ever have been? So it was very jangly, whatever, and it was The actual.
I'm thinking of a different song.
Oh, it's a different song. Well, there you go.
I'm thinking of the C minor one.
Oh, the C minor one. Well, to wrap up the thought on the first one is just that it's the biggest influence on this is Foreigner.
Foreigner?
Foreigner, yeah, because it's urgent. Using the. Won't the rain fall if I faded from your view? What could I ever have been without you? Thought I dreamt the other day. Close my eyes and hit replay. We just have to look away as we lay bleeding. Miss a lot of things we're trying to forget. Lost in the translation, something's always next. Can't start over, that's for sure. We're not welcome anymore for all the things that we ignore as we lay bleeding. Won't the rain fall if I faded from your view? What could I ever have been without you? Thought I dreamt the other day. Close my eyes and hit replay. We just have to look away as we lay bleeding. We just have to look away as we lay bleeding.
Very nice. That was fun. That's
yeah.
a very cool song.
And that song is about the owners of the Troubadour,
Oh.
Lyle Duplessis and Ellen, his wife. They passed away a few years back, and so I wrote that song about loss, and so that's what it's about. And then again, too, the other thing that song showcases two traits of mine. One is I like to throw in what I'm doing that moment. So literally, I was watching Lost in the Translation when I was writing the song. So that's why it says
Oh, cool.
Lost in the Translation in there.
Oh, that's a neat thing. That's probably for you subconsciously. So when you hear the song 5 years later, that dates you. It's like, oh, yeah, that's when I was watching that program.
Yeah. All my
That's
songs
cool.
have stuff like
That's
that.
great.
And then the other thing too is that I kind of like to, in the middle eights and the outros, throw in more chords than are necessary.
We have a good buddy like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
we had
like
someone in our band like that.
yeah, so I've got
every chord.
yeah, I have 22
Song has
chords
every chord.
in a break, it's just like that. So
That makes interesting though.
Well, here's the thing,
it's fun.
You're really taking advantage of movement. I mean, if you want to, I won't hijack the conversation and take it to a theoretical place, but there's more reasons than that. It's like, I always tell my students that if they happen to write a song, they have this riff and they modulate, meaning change key. The reason why you're actually sticking with it is an emotional reason, and whether you talk about it, describe it, think about it, that's really up to you. That's when it becomes a denser, deeper place, but I advocate those deeper, darker places with all of my students because it's a better reason than it sounds cool.
Well, I also like to tell people that if they're writing a song and it automatically goes somewhere, take it somewhere else. Okay, because if it automatically goes somewhere, it's usually too easy, and 9 times out of 10, it's kind of a little bit cliche. It's like I don't like hearing lyrics where you know what the rhyme's going to be, and that happens a lot. You know the next word's going to be June and moon and gloom and whatever. I really don't like that. So I like to take stuff where people don't expect it. So the bridges in my songs tend to go to almost a different key. And there are parts that don't even seem to connect, that just come out of nowhere on purpose. Like we have, I think our song Better Days on the last True Stories record, Ed Kornhauser played, the great jazz piano player. He played on it. Never heard the song, came in, just kind of threw something on there, and he's like, okay, now let me do it in key. And we're like, nope, that's perfect. That's exactly the way we wanted it. And so, I mean, we look.
Some tension there.
We're big on chaos theory. A lot of weird things happen when you don't expect it. We were talking a little bit earlier how we, a couple of songs on our upcoming album are first takes. And all of that is part of the chaos theory. We just throw it out there. The musicians that I play with are good enough that we can create things on the spot, and it'll sound pretty good, actually.
That's very cool. It's a great concept.
Yeah, it's just wonderful. And luckily we've been working with a producer, Alan Sanderson, that's good enough that he knows when to capture and when to make things, because he'll just go like, why don't you guys try something right now?
A lot of wisdom in that circle.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, and I got to tell you, the king of that for me was Kim Fowley, who really, Kim took the time to show me and to talk to me about some techniques in the studio, and it gave me a lot of really good advice I still use to this day.
Great.
So yeah, so things like that are really important.
Anything that you would like to share? Maybe one rule or trait or trick?
Well, no, because it's basically it's all kind of about feel and stuff like that, but
it's more psychological.
It's more
tips.
psychological, really. But really, what it comes down to is that you really got to believe in what you're doing, but more than that, you've got to be able to carry it out. So,
in what regard? Musically, like take one, take two, come on, we're on the clock.
Follow through on your ideas. Follow through on the dream. Follow through on whatever. If you wanted to do this,
responsibility,
if you wanted your song to do this, you wanted to do that, follow through on it. It'll be a reward in and of itself.
Rock and roll's not always fun, kiddos.
It's work.
It's work.
Rock and roll are both 4-letter words, okay? And so's love, so always keep that in mind, okay?
I like that.
That's deep. Deep is a 4-letter word too. Hey, we got on a roll here. Hey.
I got a bunch of them I can say too.
Wow. This is taking a new turn here. So anyway, yeah. Oh, getting back to the Oneaters, by the way, we're talking about looping around a bit and looking at your loops there. The Oneaters, the movie That Thing You Do, I wanted to pay homage because Rick Elias, one of the songwriters for that movie, now has brain cancer, and he's doing a GoFundMe page on Facebook, etc. So if you can help out by any means, Rick was a big part of the San Diego music community in the 70s and early 80s, and Man Alone, I Break Down, great 45. And so anyway, he could definitely use people's help. So if you enjoyed the movie That Thing You Do, and who didn't, definitely check it out.
Psycho if you didn't like that. Right?
Yeah. Well, and a lot of people don't know as well, there's a director's cut of the movie, which is like 45 minutes longer.
Oh my gosh, I need to know and have that. Where do we find that?
It's basically the version you can buy now. So if you want, you can probably find a copy for $3 on Amazon or something like that. But it adds a lot of. Most movies, when they do the director's cut, you're like, oh, okay, well, great, now they're wearing a red dress and they went to the supermarket, who cares? But in this one, it actually gives you a lot more plot line onto the Brian Epstein character and all kinds of stuff like that.
Any more extra Del footage? Del Paxton?
Yes, a lot more Del Paxton.
Man, that is...
See, and that's the thing. We all know the movie. We all know the movie.
I am Spartacus.
I am Spartacus.
It's so good.
It's a great movie. It's one of the best of all time. I can watch that thing over and over and over again, and I have at times. Just keep it on loop.
A lot of guys played on that too. Wasn't Dave Grohl doing that too? On that?
Dave Grohl's in that movie?
No, he plays. Didn't they? Who played the actual music? I thought it was.
No, you're thinking of Backbeat.
Oh, that's
the
Beatles
Beatles
that's right,
movie,
that's
and that's
right,
Dave
that's
Grohl and I think some of the guys from Soul Asylum and those guys playing Beatle covers.
Yeah,
cool.
And that's where Chris Leva. We all know Chris Leva.
Yes. Hi, Chris.
Who I think pulled off one of the greatest scams of all time. And this is, if everybody knows Chris, I mean, he's a great guy. He's one of the most tireless music promoters you're ever going to meet. And he pulls off some stuff that is just like genius. You're like, how did anybody get away with this? And this one in particular was funny in simply that he wanted to play one of the Beatle fairs back in the 90s, and he couldn't figure out how to get in. Didn't have access to a studio or anything, and really didn't know any Beatles songs. So what he did is he recorded on a bad cassette a version of the Backbeat soundtrack. Just recorded on a bad cassette, so it sounded kind of a little wonky. And then he turned that into the promoters of Beatles Fair and said, this is what we sound like. Can we play? And they said, you guys are great. You're on. And so then, all of a sudden, he had to learn a whole bunch of Beatles songs to play on the bill to actually make up for it. But I thought it was genius. That takes balls to hand in somebody else's, hand in Dave Grohl's.
Balls and a warped sense of morality.
Yeah.
Which I'm a big fan of.
Man, it's just too funny. And of course, the punchline is that they got their name because they played the gig, and Tony Sheridan of the Beatles fame was there.
What do you say?
And Chris went up excitedly and said, "How did we sound?" And he said, "You sounded like a blizzard." And that's where the name Blizzard comes from for the band.
Wow.
Huh.
Was that a compliment to Chris?
We're gonna choose yes.
We're gonna.
We're gonna go with yes. So that was pretty fun. But you know, Chris has
Me
done
and my
so much.
obvious thoughts again, huh?
Yes. No, it was Chris that helped bring Pete Best to town. You
Yeah.
know, and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Well, good,
so, yeah,
man.
No, he's a good guy.
Absolutely.
So, that's too good a
thing
story
is,
not to tell.
Yeah.
That's a really good story.
Yeah. So,
Bart's always full of stories. Though.
oh
That's
man,
the-
Let's,
I got
go-
stories. I got stories.
Let's.
That's why we love having you on. Man.
Yeah, you know,
You
it's your
take us
third
always
time.
down always an interesting
Oh
path.
man, there's so much going on right now.
You know, everyone here would like to thank you very much for writing that feature on us
Oh,
in the
yeah.
beginning of summer. That was. I
You're
have
very
I still
welcome.
have like 4 copies here. I have to read it once a week as my affirmation to like why I do Theory Thursday. Keep going, Mike. Do it every week. Keep going.
Well, that, you
It's
know,
a little something like that.
And the best
But-
part is it was in print media, which you can put on your fridge. You can't put your laptop up on your fridge
Yeah.
to have your mom look at it, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm big on like being able to cut it out and put it on the fridge and send
It's
it.
on the fridge.
Yeah.
Is that why you're saying that?
No, I didn't know it was, but it should
Okay.
be. It should be. That's what
Hey.
refrigerators are made for. Forget the food. It's to put up your articles, clippings, and your kids' drawings.
If you have any articles, clippings, or drawings.
Or kids.
Or
Yeah.
kids.
Okay.
Yeah, her daughter draws great stuff. In fact, she can start drawing the new Fusebox record album cover,
Maybe.
or at least singing on it.
She'll
Anyhow.
probably just take over lead vocal on that for now.
Yeah, have you met Dylan, his daughter?
No.
She was
I
here
haven't.
last time, yeah. I don't think so. Yeah.
Lovely, lovely person. Very, very strong-minded like this one.
Very cool.
Dylan, yeah.
I wanted to also just because I'm going to do a selfless plug here, a shameless plug. One of those
It's,
two.
it's
They-
about
No,
you.
I'll go with shameless.
It's all about you.
Yeah.
There's no shame.
Saturday, my birthday party at the Riviera Supper Club,
Oh.
9 o'clock. Mojo Working is going to be playing because I don't want to play my own party, but I will be sitting in with them.
Sure, that's what I was
And yes, as well as Spike Mike's going to
Yeah.
be there, and Alicia Previn and some other people will too to sit in. But for fun, I'm only going to sing songs with them I've never sung before.
Like what?
Well, I mean, one of them, for example, is going to be Elvis Costello's "The Angels Want to Wear My Red Shoes."
Cool.
I've always wanted to play that song. Never got a chance to sing it, so we're going to do that. And a bunch of stuff like that. So I think we're going to do "I'll Get You" by the Beatles and a few other things, which is one I've never done for some reason. So that's going to be a lot of fun. It's free, 21 and up. They got great cake. Really recommend the barbecue beans, and they always got great beer.
Their sides are really good there, too, surprising.
Yeah, I know. It's just good chow.
It's good stuff.
It's reasonably priced, but mostly that back bar of the Riviera is just awesome. Great bands playing there all the time. It's
Yeah.
just a fun place to
And
play.
what band is?
It's going to be Mojo Working with Scott Matheson, who's a great blues guitar player. You should have him on your show if you haven't.
I would
already.
love to have
yeah,
Scott
he's
on the show.
phenomenal. He just recorded a new album with Scotty Blinn that's going national.
Wow.
So yeah, and I mean, what a strong connection we have in the scene. I actually married Scott to his wife.
Really?
Yes, because I'm also a minister.
You're also
So
a
am I.
minister.
Yes.
I can
You
see
did?
you do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, there we go, man. All right.
Wow.
Maybe we could form a club.
Yeah.
So yeah. No, I've
Clergy.
done.
It's
I
gotta be
only,
called
Anybody
clergy.
would want me to marry them.
I only marry musicians though.
Yeah,
Only musician couples. So, and I've done 2 so far. Scott and his wife, and also David Fleminger and his wife Normandy Wilson. I married as well.
I think that's wise.
Just musicians. So there you go.
Yes.
But so if there are any musicians out there, just get in touch with me. Happy to help. Happy to help.
Could you marry us? That'd be a little weird. I've personified this piece, but would it work or not?
I
Would
don't
you
know.
waste your time with that?
I would get a nuptial first, and then we'd talk.
Prenup.
Okay.
Wants prenup.
On that note, what's another song we'd like to jam, buddy?
Let us try that blues song.
And that is at the.
Can't Seem to Make You Mine.
So may I have a tempo? Because I'm gonna
gonna
tap. I'm gonna tap it
here.
in.
And that's the.
All right. I think 125 is gonna take it for us. Dave, you mind going? Maybe just put it somewhere else.
This is
Thank you very much, Dave.
We did a version of this on our last record, and with Wendy Bailey on guitar, which is a very, very killer version. But we now do it with a keyboard part, so we just re-recorded it for the next album. And then on top of that, we just did a live recording on Friday at Lestat's
At Lestat's.
with Martin Martia Ariana on bass. And
Exciting.
yeah, this song is built around a riff. That's not exactly right, but something similar like that. He didn't even go anywhere near the riff, just kind of played what he wanted to. Before we started, he actually asked me, "You don't mind if I go John Entwistle on these songs, do you?" And I went like, "Absolutely not." And it was just
That's cool though. John can walk and melodic.
Well, he turned it into
melodically
kind of
spell out
like
every
this
tune.
funk kind of like, it turned into something completely different.
That's kind of
I'm
cool.
really,
But see,
really happy with
That's why
it.
you're awesome. You are cool enough to be like, well, we'll just play it like this.
Still maintaining C.
Some people stop and be like,
It was still in C, but it was,
C minor.
yeah, but it was just unbelievable. I couldn't believe what he was putting down. Just
I can't wait to hear that.
yeah. Well, the fun thing was that.
Would you like the lights back on if you want to continue talking?
No. I'm not that good looking anyway, so just probably get more viewers.
Well-
But the cool thing was that we're doing. What I'm finding is that most bands that do covers are tending to do 12 bar these days, or some variation thereof, and so I'm trying to get as far away from that as possible. Songs with lots of chords, and so we're doing really interesting covers. They're not going to get people on the dance floor by any means, but they're hard to play, and that's why we're playing them. And so we did Listen to What the Man
Steve
Said.
Anderson.
Doing a song like just Listen to What the Man Said, complete with the orchestral coda.
Nice.
With the slowdown
That's
at the
great.
end. Yeah, I'm just thrilled to be able to play that kind of stuff. I mean, I listen to the guys in the band just going like, I am so lucky to be standing here with these guys.
That is
And
cool.
girl, too, because Alicia's been a big part of it. She's,
Good.
her vocals really add. It's funny, too, because she's a great violin player, and I like what she's brought to the band with that.
Melodically.
With the violin, and that's all great. But actually, by surprise, the vocals actually elevated even that much more. So between her and then Greg Smith on drums also singing, it's a whole new ballgame. I mean,
Wow.
some of these songs are just amazing.
That's.
I mean, Spike was there on Friday. It was just, yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, let's see what we can do with it. Let's see what your Theory Thursday
let's see-
boys will do with it.
Let's see how.
All right. So this
Hopefully I don't butcher it too bad.
Well, see, now that you put that out in the
Now I'm gonna
quantum
screw it up,
realm,
yeah.
that possibility is a possibility now.
No, this is going to be stunningly beautiful.
Amazing.
It's going to be amazing.
There might not.
One way or the
I'm
other.
the master of just like
Just improvise.
fading into the bushes.
This is Bart. Meet my friend John Entwistle. Is that gonna work?
Sure, I think so. I think it'll work. There's 3 more hours left. You should be home by now. I should be discontent. You kept me here somehow. And so you're telling me you're gone for good this time. No matter how I try, can't seem to make you mine. Always looking for an alibi ahead of what might come. You're dressed down for the evening after all is said and done. And so you're telling me you're gone for good this time. No matter how I try, can't seem to make you mine. Looking for an alibi ahead of what might come. You're dressed down for the evening after all is said and done. And so you're telling me you're gone for good this time. No matter how I try, can't seem to make you mine.
You got the lights? Oh, look at that. Did it with his tongue.
I did.
There we go.
It's 3 claps.
Oh, 3 claps. There we go.
Nice.
Hey.
That was a lot
So,
of fun.
Yeah, Can't Seem to Make You Mine, my only blues song per se, but that's okay too. No, that's a fun one to do. Like I said, I don't do 3 bars, so sometimes, you know, and it's kind of interesting. I did a show where there was a harmonica player who was sitting in with everybody, and he got to me and goes, "Oh, I'll do 2 of your songs," and I said, "Well, happy to. You know, there we go. Happy to. It's in a certain key." I go, "But these are kind of tough songs. I can play with anybody. I got these, no problem," like that. We got about half a verse in. He's like, "Okay, I'll sit over here." Yeah, I'm out.
Well,
So,
did he have like all
Proper
12
chords.
keys?
he did have all 12
Yeah.
keys, and he did play with a number of other people, including Gregory Page and stuff like that. But, you know, like I said, you could keep up with this one until you get to the middle 8, and all of a sudden you're like, "What? He just went to an F sharp? Okay, that's..." But I do that on purpose, not to
Of
throw off
course.
harmonica players, mind you. But
Yeah.
Screw that.
although, yeah, those guys deserve it. They deserve what they get. But yeah, just because I just like things to be as different as possible.
That good. Hey,
Yeah.
man. I love being stumped on your songs.
Oh man.
Even so the viewers are like, yeah, Mike's still hanging. I thought, yeah, go a half step, go a half step. He did it!
And I have to say, by the way, I've never played one of these particular Taylors before. Very nice.
Oh, those are nice.
The Taylor
Yeah.
T5Z, it looks great on you too, man.
And from San Diego.
And
And
it's from San Diego. Proudly.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So I mean, it's right there.
You know, I would like to see you have one of those.
I would love to have one of these. Man, I got to say, I've been playing the same guitar since 1980. That's the same guitar I always played, but it is definitely time after.
The Blue Strat.
the
Yeah,
Blue
the other
Strat.
2 times it's been on the show.
Yeah.
It's a sort of a celebrity Strat around here.
It kind of is, and you know the story about how it disappeared last year, right?
Whoa, I didn't know this.
Oh yeah. This is kind of a funny story. Well, it is now. But anyway, we played the OB Street Fair last year.
Okay.
And killed as usual. You know, thousands of people in the streets as always. So anyway, yeah, both of the people enjoyed it.
They always use my picture for the chili cook-off.
Yeah, they do actually. They do. I like that. It's a good photo. It's a good
It
photo.
is a good photo.
So anyway, we played the gig, and you know we got paid. OB Street Fair, thank you. The guy said, "Hey, we really need the money," and I said, "Well, you know, it's a check. You know, it'll take me a little time to cash it and whatever." And they said, like, "Hey, there's a bank. Your bank's right over there. Why don't you just go over, cash it, and then we'll put the gear away." And then like that, because I had my scooter with me, and they said, "Get in and out." Okay, fine. Yeah, don't forget my gear. Put it away. Okay, fine. So I went to the bank, cashed the check, got it, money for everybody, did it like that. "Hey guys, got my stuff in the car. Everything's good?" "Yeah," I looked around. Yeah, we got it. Okay, fine. The next day we go to the rehearsal thing, and where's my guitar? "Oh, I thought I put it in the back of the car." It's not there.
Ah.
It's missing. It's now gone. And so we went back to the, I called the sound guy, and they said, "No, we didn't see anything like that around." I'm like, great. What are we gonna do?
Sound guy's like, so what gauge do you use?
Yeah, and so a little while
bad
later,
trick.
I get a call from the OB Main Street Association.
What?
They go, yeah, and they go, "Hey, we've got your guitar." And I'm like,
Well, that's just all your
"What?
good
What
karma.
happened?" And they said, "Well, some guy had it, and then somebody else went, 'Oh, that's Bart Mendoza's guitar,' and they went, 'Oh, okay,' and then we'll take it over there." So they took it. Then once they found out whose it was, they took it over to the thing. I kind of get the feeling that if it hadn't have been a well-known instrument,
Yeah, entirely.
it would not have like reappeared.
Found its way back.
It found its way back. But yeah, it was somebody actually turned it into the Main Street Association offices, and the nice ladies there had it,
Wow.
who then chastised me to keep an eye on my stuff a little better.
Yeah, right.
That would have been a good video.
And well deserved at that. Yeah, so
Sure.
that was a very scary thing for about 24 hours, but like I said, it popped back up. And that actually happened one other time. We were playing at San Diego State Montezuma Hall. We were opening for the Plimsolls, and our dressing room was there, and somebody broke into the dressing room, and they stole some microphones and stuff that weren't it wasn't our stuff mostly, but they also stole a jacket. And I was a little bummed about it.
The bomber jacket?
No, it was a nice suit jacket, a nice black suit jacket. My favorite one at the time. I was like, man, why did they take that? You know, it's kind of weird. And so the microphones and stuff never turned up, but about a month later, on my door, the jacket was hanging, and there was a note that said, sorry, man, didn't know it was yours.
That's very interesting karma that you get to experience in your life,
Yeah,
Bart.
so I got my jacket back. Like I said, the microphones and stuff never came back. But
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
In the event of you feeling that refractory period of like, wow, it's gone, like, are you thinking about maybe possibly getting your item back in a just way like that? Is that going through your mind? Because these experiences seem to be shocking. Like, I can't believe that happened. So, like, the probability of you maybe even thinking about it beforehand. That's what
I kind of, honestly, and this is going to sound so weird, I always kind of feel like there's somebody up there keeping an eye on me. Like, I just kind of feel like I don't want to push it, but I'm one of those people that tends to, if I lose a quarter, I find a quarter. I'm not going to find 26 cents, not going to find 23, but it kind of evens out for some reason. And it's always been that way for me. I've got some really tall tales that are like very Twilight Zone-ish about that kind of stuff. It's just kind of weird. But I mean, other things have happened like that to me before. Like, and this is kind of a funny example, and I'm sure I've kind of like embellished the story over the years now. I can't remember the exact way, but back in the 80s, my scooter got stolen. And
That's a bummer.
It's a serious bummer. It's my own transportation, whatever. And
The same one that I'm aware of, right?
yeah,
the
actually,
cool,
yeah,
the vintage Vespa.
Vintage Vespa got stolen, and basically some friends of mine kind of figured out who they thought might have taken it, and they went over to the guy's house, and he said, I had nothing to do with it, and they kind of said, I was told, because I wasn't there, that they basically said, well, look, you may or may not have taken it, but if it doesn't show up by noon tomorrow, we're going to have a discussion. And the next day, I got a call about noon from one of the groundskeepers at at Balboa Park. And my scooter showed up. You know where they do the Santa Claus with the reindeer by the Prado?
Right on the Prado.
Okay. Yeah. It was right on the grassy lawn right there. Somebody parked it right there.
Wow.
And they had painted it and put new tires on it. So I'm like, okay, well, I got new tires out of it. The guy knew who I was, and so he got my phone number, called me, and goes, hey, you need to be here within the hour to pick it up or they're going to impound it. So we moved to the side already. And so I was able to go get it with my dad's truck, and we got the bike. But it's just really random, like I got the stuff back.
That's interesting, to say the least.
Yeah,
well, that's great, though. I mean, if it's a reoccurring theme in your life, then
It's just,
like you said,
well,
leave it alone.
I am 56 years old, and those are 3 days
Three moments.
out of several thousand days of something went right. And maybe I'm not forgetting the time I got run over by a tank or something. But yeah, and I've had a lot of like traffic accidents. I've actually been hit on my Vespa 11 times.
Whoa.
Yeah. 11 times another car has come in contact with my vehicle.
That's
And I'm
pretty
still here.
scary.
And I'm still here.
You put a foghorn on that thing. Let them know you're coming.
Hey, it doesn't matter how fast you're going on a Vespa, a car will never accept it.
Yeah.
You could be going 60 and a 30 mile, and they're still going to try to pass you. It's just the way it is, And there's a lot of people that don't like them. I've had stuff thrown at the bike on the freeway and stuff like that.
What?
Yeah, people do that to bikes and motorcycles and stuff
I've
like
never
that.
got thrown at. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you, Dave, be so kind to switch it up for us? We're at the tail end of our episode, Bart.
already?
We want to wish you a happy belated birthday. Thank you for spending it with us.
Well, of course.
The
of
birthday
course.
week.
Let
for
me,
Mr. Bart Mendoza.
Let me get a couple of plugs in here,
You
just
bet.
because that's what I do.
That is the point of the show.
Yes. On November 2nd, we are having the latest edition, I think the 9th edition of Sounds Like San Diego, which is a show where we celebrate San Diego's music from the past. So we have today's artist performing yesterday's hits. And so this year we're going to be doing a tribute to the top 40. So you can expect songs by Bread and the Eagles and Johnny Rivers and stuff written and performed by San Diegans as well. We're going to do
Sounds cool.
a tribute to soundtracks. So we're going to be having famous soundtrack songs played by San Diego people. Like, did you know that Hawaii Five-0
Ventures.
Yeah, well, no. The Hawaii Five-O theme is not the Ventures. See, everybody thinks it's the Ventures,
Yeah.
but it's not. The Ventures recorded a separate thing. And actually, if you look at Wikipedia and stuff, all those things are wrong.
Yeah.
The Ventures did not play it. It was an orchestra that played it, and it was two San Diegans.
You know,
Mundo Lowe on guitar and John Guerin on drums that actually played from Point Loma High School.
Whoa,
That's who plays.
wow.
John Guerin. John Guerin was Joni Mitchell's boyfriend and played on all those. Help me, I think that's John Guerin.
we
Love
can
that
add
song.
that to that Wikipedia account if you want.
Well, I'm gonna fix some of that stuff later on.
Excellent.
So anyway, that's coming up. We're gonna do also a tribute to Mundo Lowe. Mundo Lowe being one of the all-time great guitar players who passed away, and so we're gonna have like I'm working on a female blues singer's gonna sing "Cry" by Johnny Ray. Mittens is gonna do "One Tin Soldier," that old song, because Mundo Lowe produced and played on
Mittens
that.
won Best Rock.
Yes. That's right. Great band. I love that band. So we've got that show coming up November 2nd at the Museum of Making Music. And proceeds, of course, go to, also, you know, the museum does these shows to keep the doors open. To, you know, I mean, I probably over-exaggerating a little bit, but they use the funds to keep the museum going as well.
Sure.
So there's that. And then also Staring at the Sun. The next edition is coming out later on this year. And we've got a great cover by legendary artist Scott Shaw, who does The Simpsons and excuse me, the Flintstones and all those kinds of cartoons.
Whoa.
He did a great cover that takes place at Wedgeforth Bowl at the San Diego Zoo with all the funny animal characters in it. So
Wow.
yeah, the Staring at the Sun is a local compilation album. We usually have 44 San Diego bands, and the covers are always done by famous comic book artists from San Diego. So we've had a really good series of these things, very, very collectible, and they're not available for sale. You can only get them at the shows. You have to go, and the shows are usually free, so there's no excuse. You get a free CD and a 2 CD disc and stuff like that. So that's going to be out a little later on towards the year, and then just to keep everybody aware, we are going to be looking at dates and stuff for the San Diego Music Awards for next year pretty soon, and
Exciting.
we're also going to be looking at Beatles Fair.
Lot of fun.
We got some good lines on guests and stuff. We did Pete Best last year, which is about as good as you can get without getting Paul or Ringo to show up. But we've got a good surprise that I think may help people out. And then, of course, as well, bands, please feel free to get a hold of me, especially after the first of the year, for Art Around Adams, which is the first Saturday of June, which will be happening again. We have 8 stages and a lot of great bands. And this year, it looks like we're going to be teaming up with Loudspeaker 91X for the main stage. So it's going to be
Excellent, baby.
special fun. So I want to thank Adam Rosen and Vanya Zamora and Lori Wilson in particular
Vanya.
for all the help with everything. Lori was the studio audience last time.
Yes,
So I want
that's
to
right.
thank them for all the help with everything like that. And of course, Spike Mike, without which I would never get anywhere and life would just suck. So
It is nice being in the room with you in this capacity,
We're
dude.
Yes, it's nice being here.
we're bringing it, taking in the vibes.
well, you know, let's
Yes.
face it, there's 5 of us in this room and only one of us has been on network television. Yeah. Without a police chase, that is. Okay,
Yeah.
that's because there's 2 of us in the room
I
for that
think
have the other one. Yeah. So.
What network piece of
that's
television?
that's
NBC,
NBC,
America's Got Talent.
Yeah.
That's right.
He was
Pistols.
and
that was recent, beginning of summer, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was approximately 6 or 8 weeks ago.
yeah.
And it was episode 6. You can find that on YouTube.
Yep.
It's
This
only
guy
a few
right
times on
here.
YouTube.
only it's only like 30 seconds, but Mel
Oh,
B
that's
loved it.
so rad.
And
yeah.
and
Yeah, that's
Mel
funny.
B
'cause
loved it.
That's your character.
and
And a
and
compliment from Simon. He said, "At least you played it better than the original."
yes.
Really?
Yeah.
jab
Yeah.
right,
Simon Cowell's
right
on
next
that?
to him. That's right next.
We should have started the show with that quote.
Absolutely. Speaking of shows,
We'll get your
for
butt on
Spice
here.
Pistols,
Yeah.
we are playing on the 22nd at Bar Pink, and we're also playing on October 27th with a band called Gacy DC.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Cool.
LA. That's an amazing band, and we're really excited to play with them, as well as a band from San Diego called Brighton 76.
Yes.
It's a Clash tribute band.
I've seen those guys.
And
Right on.
Spice Pistols are not a Captain and Tennille or Starland vocal band tribute group.
Oh, and one quick note: we're not a tribute band.
Yeah, that's actually a good
One
point.
of the things that
I
many
noticed-
people don't know about our band is we write songs, we write originals, and we perform originals as if the Spice Girls and the Sex Pistols sat down and wrote together.
Wrote songs. Yeah, I noticed.
So is that
I
like a
noticed
Dred
that.
Zeppelin thing?
No,
Remember
'cause they're
Dred-
not doing covers.
Kind of, sort of, but they do the covers as well, you know, with the same premise, you know, mixing the sound.
So it's a new
But-
platform. It's a new
Yeah, and this
style.
actually dovetails very nicely
Not
into the
style.
Staring at the
New
Sun
platform.
thing, because with the Staring at the Sun thing, what we're trying to do is promote local music and push the original music in town. There's a lot of great cover bands and stuff like that. And of course, through this, Spice Pistols are going to have their song "Life's a Drag" on the next edition of Stare at the Sun.
Which is an original.
Yes. We also have Pony Death Ride. We've got, of course, True Stories and Manual Scam, but we also got, trying to think, oh man, Ariel Levine, the Monroes, the Mittens is on it. We get a ton of great bands already on it. So we'll have more details on that in the next month and a half or so.
That's exciting.
Cool. So-
Well, you know, we're going to have you back as soon as possible. Maybe
I
we
hope
can
so.
get you planned
I have so
before,
much. This just goes by in a flash.
It always goes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Well,
It's just-
Bart, you can consider yourself part of the family here, and
Thank you, sir.
every quarterly
knows
at least
that.
you'll be here. So,
Appreciate that.
happy belated birthday! There's always a massive amount of respect on this side for you
Thank you,
every
sir.
day. And again, thank you very much for writing that featurette on Theory Thursday. That is everything for us. Back to you next week, baby. I'm Mike Ruggiero. We are going to have, this is the funny part of the show where sometimes I can't remember next week's guest,
I got
but
it.
it's coming.
I got it.
Is it?
I'll close it out. Yeah. We'll save it.
It's
Yeah.
my favorite.
Yeah.
Well, my new favorite.
My favorite.
Yeah, your favorite.
Yeah. One of my favorites.
Brian Karsig,
Brian
everybody.
Karsig. Oh, wow.
Yeah, Brian
Great guy.
Karsig
Brian's
will
a
be
great
here.
guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're going to be jamming some of his greatest hits next week.
You're going to have more than an hour for your show then next week?
Well,
It's
you
about an
know,
hour. Yeah, I know. There's so
Yeah,
many,
it's coming.
right?
It's
There's
Brian.
so
you know,
many.
Bart, if you're watching and you're writing in the comments and you're help narrating the situation, you feel free to help steer the ship. If you say, hey, stay longer, do another hour, we're going to listen to you. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
in that capacity, you can hijack the feed whenever you want.
Okay, well, I think
And that goes for you, too.
people have the power, as
You're in
Patti
trouble
Smith
now.
said.
So I guess that made your job a
Ask
little harder.
Brian what his
That's
thoughts
okay.
on the Spice Pistols are.
Yeah.
Yeah. I suppose
right.
I should bring a disc in.
Enough
Yeah.
about me. What do you think about me?
Yeah. What do you
That's good. Do you know what you want to play?
You guys work it out. I'll close this out and
Play a song?
get it in done. So yeah, we're gonna get it.
Is this? Do we shut off when he's doing the pitch? Can we
He
talk?
does.
I
He mutes.
will
He
bring you
mutes
down.
it.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you again for watching. We really can't do without your viewership, and we thank you. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Kurt Mangan Strings, Mad Hatter Guitar Products, Iconic Guitars, Guitar Tune-Up San Diego, and Bogner Amplification. That's so awesome, Bogner. Anyway, go to our website, TheoryThursday.com. I'd like to thank SWR Video Productions, Mr. Dave Wright. I'd like to thank our guest, Bart Mendoza, and Spike Mike for coming in and hanging out with us. Yeah, next week's guest is Brian Karsig. Looking forward to that especially. And I think there anything else business-wise? Got anything coming up? Oh yeah, become a Patreon.
Yeah.
Try it out. Get at least Nikki try it out.
Yeah, I'm sure you always talk about our strings and our wonderful cables here. These are, our exclusive Theory Thursday teacher cable.
Yep.
Go out and get yourself
those
one.
on TheoryThursday.com.
Be good. All right. So, can we get that clear? Why don't you oblige us?
Almost.
Almost. 3 more times. That's
There
right.
it is. There it is.
You're gonna miss me when you're gone. You'll find that life continues on. You count and one is 3. You'll never get the best of me. There's thrills and pills and chills and things she said today. You know she couldn't ever have it any other way. Won't you tell me that you love me? Won't you say you love me true? Don't you know I've got better things to do? There's thrills and pills and chills and things she said today. she couldn't ever have it any other way. Won't you tell me that you love me? Won't you say you love me true? Don't you know I've got better things to do?
Remember how I had the beat buddy?
Yeah.